Good evening. I'm Kim Melnick, Chair of the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I hereby call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. on this 23rd day of July, 2024. Thank you to those who have joined us in line and in person. At this time, I will ask Madam Clerk to announce the roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Present in the school board chamber are Chair Melnick, Vice Chair Franklin, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Brown, Mr. Callen, Mr. Culpepper, Ms. Kendrick, Ms. Manning, Ms. Owens, Ms. Riggs, and Ms. Weems.
Thank you. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? Please stand as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So if you grabbed an agenda, you will see that it says we have no recognitions this evening for student awards or recognitions. However, today Mrs. Riggs attended a VSBA conference in Richmond, and VBCPS received an award. And so I will turn to my colleague and friend and let her tell us all about that.
Okay, so Virginia Beach was nominated and won the 2024 Food for Thought Award. And what it was for us was our scratch cooking initiative that we're doing. And so they recognized us today, and Rachel, what's her name? Amata, yeah. I just learned her last name today. I didn't learn it, obviously. But anyway, Rachel met me up there too, and we both received it together. And it's for healthy school meals for school systems above 10,000. So we won it for our scratch cooking, and it was we were recognized by all of the SBA across the state. I have to give a plug for Rachel. She came all the way up there, and she did a good job. We didn't have to speak, but we did get our pictures taken, so you'll see that. And I'm very impressed with her. She has a lot of credentials, so, yep.
If anyone doesn't know about our scratch cooking, please visit our website, bbschools.com, and there's a lot on our website about that. It's really remarkable and just another example of how Virginia Beach City Public Schools shines. So thank you so much, Mrs. Riggs.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any modifications to the agenda as presented? All right, hearing none, I call for a motion to approve the agenda. Motion made by Mr. Callen, seconded by Mrs. Riggs. Any discussion? The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 11 ayes for the adoption of the agenda. The motion did pass.
Thank you. Item 9, our superintendent's report and recognitions. Dr. Robertson, we look forward to your report and your recognitions this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chairwoman and members of the board. Here are a few items of interest for you and our families. Last week, hundreds of our instructional leaders gathered for our annual summer conference under the theme, Leading with Purpose, Setting Sail for Success. I welcome the participants by celebrating the ways of achievement that have brought us this far, and by setting a course for the upcoming school year with clear learning intentions and success criteria. Breakout sessions and exhibitions at Lansdowne High School motivated us in a relentless and deliberate pursuit of excellence. We focused on a number of topics, including future-ready students, integrated systems of support, educational equity, and professional growth and well-being. We welcomed our new leaders and recognized educational pioneers within our school division, including Dr. Michelle Miller, the principal at Glenwood Elementary, as our Elementary Instructional Leader of the Year, and Mr. David Swanger, Director of the Career and Technical Education Center, as our Secondary Instructional Leader of the Year. The 2024 Summer Leadership Conference helped us understand what it means to keep our compass pointing towards success. And I want to thank all of the various departments that put forth effort to pull off such a great event. As Ms. Riggs just noted, our Scratch Food Initiative is the winner of Virginia School Boards Association Food for Thought competition. We won under the Healthy Meals School category, again, for our Virginia Beach Scratch, Changing the School Food Perspective. I'm sure most of you remember the wonderful Welcome Back to School video produced last year by our Department of Communications and Community Engagement in Virginia Beach City's Creative Services. I'm proud to announce this inspiring video was nominated for an Emmy Award.
Yeah.
And DCC staff members also recently received awards from the National School Public Relations Association for their writing and additional video work. I'm glad to see this department recognized for sharing positive stories about our students and staff. I wanted to make sure our families know about the 2 Power Pack days we had together at the school board retreat on July 10 and 11 at the Plaza Annex. Sessions covered many important topics, including the school calendar, artificial intelligence, gifted education, cell phone policy, new construction, budget priorities, accreditation, and accountability. There was significant discussion and feedback despite some topics being very complex. We are working to follow up on the valuable input we received from board members in the coming weeks and the coming school year. And don't miss out. Join us at the Back to School Fair on August 17th at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. Families will enjoy information about various services to help them back to school, along with free backpacks, student haircuts, vision screenings, and vaccines. More than 100 youth-serving organizations will be there with information, fun activities, and entertainment. Our Office of Family and Community Engagement asks you to mark it on your calendar, 12 to 4, Saturday, August 17th, at the Virginia Beach Convention Center, and we'll see you there. Thank you, Madam Chair. This concludes my report.
Okay. Any recognitions this evening?
Yes, I have several recognitions. It is that time of year. So, up first, I am pleased that you've accepted our recommendation for Jennifer Freeman, currently an assistant principal at Lansing Elementary School, to be the new principal at Linkhorn Park Elementary School. And Jennifer, I know you have some guests.
Oh, Jen.
Congratulations. She's watching. Also, Carrie Kelly, we're pleased you've accepted our recommendation for Carrie Kelly, currently an admin assistant in Glenwood and Kempsville Elementary School, to be the new assistant principal at Thorogood Elementary School. And I see you have some guests.
Yeah, I got my husband, Aaron Kelly, my son, Piper Kelly, and my daughter.
Congratulations. Next up is Amanda Lloyd, currently an assistant principal at Red Mill Elementary School. We're pleased that you've accepted our recommendation for her to be the next principal at Bayside Elementary School. And we see you have some guests. Congratulations. Next up is Hannah Pritchard, currently the admin assistant at W.T. Cook Elementary School, and we're pleased that you've accepted our recommendation for her to be the next assistant principal at Red Mill Elementary School. And you have some guests.
I do, thank you. Also, my husband, Connor, my former principal, Kelly Villa, her daughters, Susie and Frankie. I have my current principal, Kathy Brown, my mom, Catherine, and my husband, Jody.
All right, very good. Next up is Lauren Salas, currently admin assistant at College Park and Thalia Elementary School. We're pleased you've accepted our recommendation for her to be the next assistant principal at Lansdowne Elementary School. You have some guests.
Yes, lots of my coworkers and friends that have been with me along the way, all due to CPS employees. Sheena Smith, Ashley Godfrey is my new principal, Michelle Garner, Kayla Cardwell, Katie Catania, Kelly Grassley, Jessica Bradford, Nicole Harris, and Carolyn Morris.
Congratulations. Next up is Olivia Snyder. We're pleased you've accepted our recommendation for Olivia, currently an admin assistant at Corporate Landing Elementary School, to be the next assistant principal at Hermitage Elementary School. Olivia, I know you have some guests, and one in waiting.
Yes.
My husband Nick Snyder, my mom Casey Carson, and
Yes, congratulations. So I gotta tell you a funny story. So Olivia, I was asking her about her baby, who's named Virginia, and she's sitting in my office, and there's Virginia Tech stuff everywhere. But we still recommended her. Yes. Next up is Megan Thompson, currently an assistant principal at Thorogood Elementary School, and we're pleased you've accepted our recommendation for her to be the next principal of Woodstock Elementary School. And I know you have some guests.
I'm joined by my husband, also in BBC 2 and two BBC students, my son Owen, and my daughter.
Congratulations. Next up, we have Andrea Chambers, currently an assistant principal at Lansdowne High School, and we're pleased that you've accepted our recommendation for Dr. Chambers to be the next principal at Bayside 6. And I see you have some guests. Caldwell, we know Miss Caldwell. She trained half the people up here.
Amber Bell, former Bayside sixth grade campus principal and current Bayside middle school principal. Julietta Chambers, my mom. Andrea Taylor, my sister. And Dr. Holly Johnson, former Bayside middle school principal and current Youngstown high school. Nice.
Very good. Next up, we have Richard Plaint, currently an assistant principal at Lynn Haven Middle School. And we're pleased you've accepted our recommendation for him to be the next assistant principal at First Colonial High School. Richard, you have some guests. Congratulations. And then finally, we have Taylor Lovejoy, currently an assistant principal at Brandon Middle School, and you've accepted our recommendation for Taylor to be the next coordinator in secondary social studies in the Department of Teaching and Learning. And Taylor, you have some guests. Yes. So to the families, we appreciate you sharing your loved ones with us. They have big jobs to do to educate the students in our division. But they're a phenomenal group, as you can judge by the people that are here today. So thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
And you know, Dr. Robertson, I think what's even more impressive is the fact that our new appointees, you are surrounded clearly by so much love and so many years of experience. And I know they're all here for you if you need it. But kudos to you all and congratulations. I know, she's adorable. Just a little ball.
I remember that. That was me. I was like 90 pounds when I got pregnant. That was, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't gain any weight.
Which one?
All of them. With Grant, I was on home health care. I had an IV pole in my house. I know. Okay, moving on now to the approval of the meeting minutes. Are there any modifications from the July 9th and 10th, 2024 school board retreat and abridged school board meeting minutes as presented? All right, hearing none, I call for a vote to approve those July 9th and 10th,
Calling for
2024.
a point of order, you're calling for a motion first.
Yeah.
Made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion made by Ms. Anderson, second by Ms. Owens. Any discussion? All right, now I call for the vote. Voting board is open. Sorry about that.
So, Madam Chair, we have 9 ayes and 2 abstentions, so the motion did pass for the approval of the meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. And those abstentions were,
I did not observe the
Okay,
meeting on the
thank
9th.
okay, thanks. All right, the school board will now hear public comments on matters relevant to pre-K through 12 public education in Virginia Beach and the business of the school board and the school division from citizens and delegations who signed up with the school board clerk prior to noon today. The purpose for the public comment section of the school board agenda is for the school board to offer an orderly forum to receive public comments during the school board meeting. I'd like to remind everyone attending tonight's meeting, this includes those on the dais and those in the audience and online, to please speak with respect and kindness. The school board also invites the public to submit comments through our group email account, which can be found on our website. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce the first speaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first speaker will be Paula Chang, Dan Chang, and then Diane Muscovac.
Welcome.
I have to first comment that a lot of those people looked too young to be principals. Anyway, so I came to say, you're voting tonight on the committee membership put forth by Ms. Melnick and Ms. Franklin. And Ms. Melnick and Franklin want to have Mrs. Owens, Browns, and Anderson on the Policy Review Committee. Respectfully, and I do mean respectfully, Mrs. Anderson, but the entire time I've been to PRC meetings for now over 3 years, Mrs. Anderson has sat on this committee, and her influence, along with that of Mrs. Riggs, who chaired the committee for many years, has been for policies with which I and much of the public disagree. These policies, I believe, harmed our students and caused the choosing of governmental authority over the rights of parents. Therefore, I support Mrs. Manning, not Mrs. Anderson, on the PRC, because for her brief time on the PRC, Mrs. Manning worked on the policies to return such things as Val-Sal, and she worked against the harmful book policies that many on this school board have championed. And I also have to ask why Mrs. Riggs is being placed back on a committee, I can't recall if it's governance or legislative, from which she resigned just a few months ago. She did not complete her committee obligation, and she quit. Also writing negatively about a board member, and then asked to be returned to the committee, and apparently is being allowed to do so. I would remind everyone that she also left last year a school board meeting, and so there's a pattern here. So that's that. I want to ask what the plan was and why that was done. So next I want to move on to comment on the discussion at the retreat about artificial intelligence and the expense of ChatGPT, something the division may be asked to provide for students. ChatGPT is an app for which the user inserts prompts, such as for paragraphs or papers, and the ChatGPT then writes the paragraph or paper for the user. While the school division employee representatives postulated very optimistically that students would never cheat on this, the world, I think, effectively begs to differ. ChatGPT, I think, also fails in that there are even common nicknames for these failures. For instance, ChatGPT has been known to provide false information or make it up, and they call that online hallucinating. It also cites often false sources for information and non-transparently writes verbiage with only information the app wants presented, thus not allowing the student to be exposed to ways to consider all facts and create their own work and their own thoughts. The worst problem with reliance on AI such as ChatGPT is that these sort of apps, if provided by the board, gives usage that fails the student in their education. We are all here to help them learn to critically think, to reason, to consider all sides, to struggle, to try, to fail, and then to try and then succeed. One must harness their own real intelligence so that they, when they're grown, are not controlled by intelligence that is artificial. There is a place for AI and for ChatGPT, and I urge this board to consider its usage very wisely. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dan Chang, then Diane Muscovac, then Matthew Cody Connor.
Salutations, Mrs. Manning, and congratulations on your recognition from the Family Foundation. I'm here to discuss economic realities of the school division. This is being addressed because of a remark Chair Melnick made at the retreat when she raised the possibility of a 1% increase in sales tax to pay for the school division's costs. Mrs. Anderson also floated the idea of a tax increase at a PRC meeting. While Ms. Melnick may have the legal right to ask, such a request is clearly tone deaf as to the financial burdens placed on taxpayers in this city, often parents of VPCPS children. Does this board understand that this tax is regressive and would hit hardest those who least afford to pay, who can least afford to pay? This is disturbing when one realizes that many of the students live in a one-head of household homes, and that 9% of our population lives at the HUD poverty level. A large number who live above the HUD level are still barely scraping by. One reason mentioned at the retreat for the financial strain on the division was your money management during the last 2 to 3 years, which kept division employee health insurance premiums relatively low, falsely low. I do respect these employees, but they did not see the true increases in their premiums as taxpayers subsidize these increases. This is unfair to the taxpayers. Now the premiums must rise, but you may still want taxpayers to subsidize. To keep these premiums rising slowly for the division, taxpayers may be hit with higher sales tax. Do not ask to raise taxes on citizens. Instead, cut your bloated budget. One more tone-deaf board, regressive economics. This division attempted to rebuild 3 schools with unnecessarily large buildings full of extraneous bells and whistles, such as movable walls, skylights, waterfalls. None of these increase the educational experiences of the students, and none of which enhance the safety of students. None of your budget or building plans consider voters, citizens, or parents' ability to pay the taxes this would cost. We, the people, are not your piggy banks. We are not your serfs. We are your bosses. We hired you. We demand that you manage our money properly. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Diane Muscovak, then Matthew Cody Connor, and speaker number 5 had to cancel.
So, wow, a lot has happened since the June school board meeting. For instance, there was an assassination attempt that left 2 people dead, the shooter and an innocent victim in the crowd, and 2 other innocent victims critically injured. On a different note, 2 states are now mandating that the 10 Commandments be displayed in public schools. These 2 events are at opposite ends of the spectrum. One event has total disregard for human life, while the other promotes human life. People are yearning for a moral compass. Some realize they need guidance, while others are so lost that they believe taking another person's life is justified. So just recently, I spoke with a security resource officer who told me they caught 4 children with weapons, 2 with handguns, 2 with knives. Isn't it remarkable that this person actually prevented a potential tragedy? I mean, if these children had carried out their plans, their actions might have harmed someone we all know and love. While the security resource officer did prevent a tragedy, it was a reactive measure to what these children had already conceived in their minds. This brings me to the importance of a proactive approach, a topic that I've been advocating for the past year. What if these 4 children had a moral compass and recognized that said, wow, what they were planning was wrong, and they never brought the weapons to school? The primary reason this is where the National School of Chaplaincy can make a difference in our public schools. The association can help change hearts and minds of people starting at a young age. The primary reason to hire school chaplains is school safety. Data shows that most mass shootings are planned, meaning there's time for intervention. However, students often avoid therapy services due to the stigma and fear that consultations will appear on their transcripts. Talking to a chaplain carries no stigma. The informality can encourage students to open up when they are otherwise wouldn't do it. Chaplaincy is a non-threatening solution. The NSCA's mission is to provide spiritual care in public education to all people at all times representing Christ and making a difference that can be felt in our society. The benefits of chaplains are proven and should no longer be ignored or withheld from our schools. I'd like to mention that the chaplain position can be either paid or a voluntary position. It is whatever the state decides. Texas decided to compensate their chaplains, while Florida has made it a voluntary role. So until next time, let's team up, change the hearts of people starting at a young age by implementing the National School of Chaplaincy program. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Matthew Cody Connor.
In my last speech, I said something untrue. I said that Miss Manning had received money from the SBMA. While Miss Manning is giving them money, and she works for them as a director, and she tries to sell their services, she has not received money from them as of now. So I apologize for my untrue statement, Miss Manning. When you spread misinformation, make a mistake, it's important that you apologize and make things right. I'm a big enough person to do that. I wonder, Mrs. Manning, if you are. You see, I've been reading your articles for Restoration of America here. Today's PTA is a tool of the radical left. This is where you attack the PTA, the Parent Teachers Association, that's been around for over 120 years. That's all about involving and giving voices to parents in education. I thought you were all about parental rights. Or is that just the parents that agree with you? Because that's what this seems like. What kid needs parents when government schools dish out everything from dinner to hormones? You want to talk about spreading slander and misinformation? Schools are not giving out hormones. You literally wrote a whole article trying to convince people that providing access to food and medical services for children in need is a bad thing. That's just shame. Children's hospitals are the tip of the spear for chemical castration and radical gender ideology. This is where you spread misinformation about my family, my child, her health care, people like hers, medical care. It's where you demonize parents and doctors and families that are just trying to do the best for their children. Stop the cult of government schools. Doesn't sound like you're here to serve and support government or public schools. You can't even say public schools. Sounds like you're here to tear them apart. Now, while I hope you fail in your endeavors to harm others, I don't wish you any harm. I hope you meet people, have experiences that will help you put down this hate and fear that you're carrying around. The words of these articles aren't the words of somebody seeking truth or love or understanding. I've studied the teachings of Christ, whom you can't say you follow, and those aren't his words either. These are the words of a fear and hate monger trying to sow discord, trying to pit people against each other, and trying to tear our communities apart. I struggled reading your words to remember who I am, to hold strong to love, to not give in to fear and anger. I have to deal with the difficulties and the dangers created for my family by people like you, but I will not allow you to change me. I will not allow myself to be infected by your hate. It has no place in our society. It has no place on the school board or a policy review committee, and I will give it no place in my heart. And I hope someday you find a way to do the same.
We're going to move on to our online speakers. Our first speaker is Kim Mayo. Please unmute.
Good evening. I'll address ODS, but first briefly update your board as a follow to my speech in April on Chromebook overuse. I'm pleased to share I successfully opted my second grader out. Her performance improved. Parents need better reporting visibility on Chromebook usage. Now, let's talk about the gifted program. We have a nice opportunity to transform ODS Public School into a satellite campus for gifted learners. ODS, a public institution, is monopolizing resources from other public schools. 57% of our division's gifted budget is spent on ODS, which only serves 11% of the gifted population. This is highly problematic. There are very few gifted standalone schools in beautiful New Hampshire, Mass, and Virginia, states known for strong public schools. Nobody can make the argument ODS serves the most highly scoring and so-called deserving gifted kids anymore after the spring 2023 admission scandal. Where's the data ODS is beneficial to the community at large? Dr. Plucker told us better to have several or no gifted schools, which makes sense. Studies on the effects of standardized test scores do not correlate with other long-term non-academic outcomes such as crime, earnings, labor force participation, physical health, altruism, or happiness, according to research cited by scholar Corey DeAngelis. Since we're adding an additional ODS class, which was a good idea but a Band-Aid solution, those from the same pool of rising third graders not selected ODS should be given choice of open enrollment. For example, if a student vacates Kingston Elementary for ODS, someone from Hermitage should have choice to fill that spot at Kingston so their child's gifted needs can be better met. There's no uniformity on delivery of services. ODS is great for gifted learners, and many other schools are not designed for gifted kids, due in part to a high percentage performing below grade level and getting the attention. This necessitates the formation of gifted satellites. ODS is not Phillips Andover or a private school. Private schools should be able to do what they want within reason, but resources should not be hogged by one public taxpayer-funded school. Some families may face financial hardship having to pay for private school or homeschool to flee our zoned government schools to meet our students' gifted needs. No one is suggesting turning the building into apartment housing. ODS could be a satellite campus for gifted learners serving a greater population than just 11 out of 100, or the building could be repurposed by another school. Let's someday fund the children, not this one gifted school. Thank you for your consideration.
And Madam Chair, the second speaker is not online, so our speakers are done for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight, under information, we have a number of policies, and we welcome Mrs. Linetti, our school board attorney.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, school board members, and Dr. Robertson. I'm Cami Linetti, the school board attorney. And on behalf of the Policy Review Committee, I'll be bringing you recommendations from the July 15th Policy Review Committee meeting. There are 10 recommendations coming forward. The first one is Bylaw 115, which has to do with vacancies. You will notice in Section B, we're adding a recommendation that came out of a change in the law in the General Assembly. And this is something I think you'll actually be pleased with. This was an issue that came up for us this year during our application to fill the interim position for the District 4 position. It'll be the last sentence under Section B, and it will read, each applicant's resume and other materials required by the school board for consideration as part of the application process will be made available for inspection by the public at least 7 days before the hearing. So that's formally a change in law. We're going to recommend putting that into the bylaw. The second part of that law, it required that you have a public hearing. That's always been a requirement for school board members, so we didn't need to change that. That was updating it. That is the only recommendation we have on bylaw 115. Are there any questions on bylaw 115?
So, thank you, Ms. Linetti. So this past round, in District 4, we did allow them to decide or opt in or opt out regarding their information.
That's been our procedure in the past.
Is that going away then with this new policy
That
change?
is actually required now by the law that the application be made available. In the past, what we've done is we've put it in and an applicant's resume can be considered personnel records. So generally what we did was we kept them to ourselves. When you pick candidates that you were going final candidates, we would then go back and ask the candidates. Sometimes they released it, sometimes they didn't. Now they will require, and this will be told to them up front. And we'll move on to our second bylaw, which is 136. This is open meeting and closed meetings. It has a couple things that have happened in it. There was some change in the General Assembly this year. Clarifications actually was something we've been talking about in the past. If you look into Section D, remote location participation meetings, one of the questions we've had come up when you participate remotely as a member of a committee for a temporary or permanent disability, one of the areas you could do is if you were caretaking for someone, and the question came up, who was a caretaker, and that was actually answered by the General Assembly this year, came out of some of the studies having to do with the Freedom of Information Act. So what we did is we reorganized Section D under Section 1, disabilities. We put some subsections to it, and we added an A. One was a member, defining what a member is that we've defined by our own policy, and the second to A2 would be caregiver, means adult who provides care for a person with a disability as defined by the Code of Virginia. It goes on to explain that. So that answered a question we had later in the year. Further going down, we had to clarify in B that if the person is participating remotely, it does count towards the quorum, and that follows through in the rest of this section. And let's see, I don't think there are any other changes. You are now required under the law every year to readopt your remote participation policy, so we'll have to do this every year. In passing this bylaw will qualify for that new regulation on there. Are there any questions about this bylaw 136? Mr. Callen?
Is there any length of time that this is limited to, or if someone is deemed to be a caregiver in a situation as described, is there any window of time within which that must be honored, and after it exceeds a certain amount, it no longer is applicable?
The law, the Virginia Freedom of Information Act doesn't put a restriction. We had this conversation many years ago when we actually first adopted this policy. How long will we allow that? So you'll see a subsection in here that talks about at a certain point, the school board, if you determine it's becoming disruptive, you can disallow it. At that point, you would have to vote to do that. You don't actually have to allow remote participation. That is a choice that you make, and you can put restrictions on it. So we have a subsection in here. If for some reason the board determines it's inappropriate, it's disrupting your business, you would then have to go back and vote on it. We'd have a procedure for that.
Okay, thank you.
That will move us on to the policies under policy 4.2, which is under employee conduct in our personnel section. Under policy 4.2, typographical error on section A1, correcting a word there. And I don't think we have any other. We do have an insert into B, employee student relations 2. And it will add that employees are to avoid any action that may be perceived to show favoritism towards any one student or group of students. Individualized gifts or special privileges are not appropriate unless approved by school administration. We had some ongoing discussion, and you'll see some changes under section 3 about how employees are to interact with students. We want to make it clear that there are times when you have a personal relationship with a student, maybe your own student, maybe a neighbor student, outside of that. So we didn't want to say it was inappropriate for you. So see in section 3E, and we put in this section now in their official capacity as school division employees shall not purposely meet with a minor student outside school or school activities without knowledge and consent of the minor's parents, and some clarifications on inappropriate friendships. There was ongoing discussion of PRC that obviously many of us are involved with our schools, our employees. We're coaching in our neighborhoods. We're working with the kids on there. So there are times when you might be interacting with the child that you deal with at school. So I thought that was a better clarification for that section. Are there any questions? A couple other minor changes you'll see out throughout here, just adding words and taking out some editor's notes. Other than that, those would be the only recommended changes. Are there any questions on policy 4.2? Hearing no questions on policy 4.2, I will move on to policy 469. 469 is research involving employees research review committee. If you're not familiar with it, there are specific laws that deal with how you deal with research in schools, and we're recommending simply a change on the legal reference. That is the only recommended change under policy 469. Any questions on 469? Hearing no questions on 469, we are looking at 540 next, which is student-led assemblies, demonstrations. This is a one-pager for you. There are no recommendations. This was simply the 5-year review, and we are not recommending any changes to this policy. Are there any questions on policy 540? Hearing no questions on 540, we'll move on to 550, also a 5-year review. This has to do with class gifts and exchanging gifts in the student sections. There are no recommended changes. Are there any questions about policy 550? Hearing no questions on 550, we will move on to 558, also under the student section. This is student and staff wellness. The recommendations are a couple minor scrivener changes and removal of the editor's notes and certain legal references. Other than that, this is mostly a 5-year review check. Are there any questions on 558? Hearing no questions on 558, we'll move on to 559. 567, also under the student section, having to do with research involving students, research review committee. The recommended change comes under section C, which is consent for surveys, analysis, or evaluations of students. In addition to C2, the law has been updated, we just will clarify. Will now read mental or psychological problems of students or students' families and/or medical information or information on student health, risk behavior, other information controlled, substance abuse will be one of the categories that you would require consent for. And there's some changes that have to do with the editor's notes and the legal references, but those are the only recommended changes to policy 567. Are there any questions on 567? Opening up 573, this was voter registration. We did look at this at the last school board meeting. We brought it back just to clarify the language on this. You'll see on the second, it's actually the third sentence, will now read, the superintendent designee is authorized to develop such programs for students and to allow for secondary social studies teachers approved by the Department of Teaching and Learning, DTAL, and the voter registration elections office for conduct voter registration programs for high school and adult education programs. So after just trying to decide exactly which teachers would be qualified, we determined it would be easier just to leave it as a social studies teachers who've been approved because the names of those classes they teach could change. Other than that, those are the only recommendations for policy 573. Are there any questions on 573? Mr. Callen?
I'm curious as to why the nonpartisan was stricken.
I think nonpartisan had to do with voter registration programs and didn't seem to be appropriate in front of the voter registration elections office, as that's the official government office.
Okay.
I think it used to read nonpartisan voter registration programs that were called civilian groups that were out there doing it, and I think that we instead inserted the official government agency instead of any other group that could be out there.
Well, again, as you could probably imagine, I'm very interested in reinforcing the nonpartisan nature of this.
I do think it's limited at this point to approved social studies teachers and the official voter registration office. So I think that's basically going to be nonpartisan. There will not be any other groups allowed into our schools to be able to do the voter registration programs. I'm sorry, Mrs. Brown, may clarify?
Yeah, so the purpose of the change is to ensure that our social studies teachers are able to, as part of their curriculum, tell students that they can register to vote, and the registrar's office can conduct it, and that other organizations can come in. I did have a question for clarity when Mr. Callen's done too. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, the language in here doesn't allow for social studies to bring in some of those approved social studies teachers to still bring in some of those groups, because that would definitely not meet the intentionality. As I was just rereading it again, I have some concerns there.
I'm not sure what the teaching would be. I think that was certainly something we'll deal with. DTAL can take a look at that,
Yeah,
what the
because
directions are.
They can.
Yeah, if your concern is that a guest speaker would come in that wasn't neutral and trying to push an agenda, all guest speakers have to be approved, and we have to comply with the policy on controversial instructional material and delivery.
Yeah, I
think
guess
that
I
what
have.
remember Mr. Quinn telling us was, and I could be wrong about this, but I think he said they basically show you how to go online and do it yourself. It really isn't pushing or signing anything up, like you're not being asked to sign political parties. They show you how one goes online to do that, and that's how it's done.
I believe that my concern is, now that I'm reading this again, is that the exact intentionality of the concerns that I had now still exists, because I am concerned about an agenda being pushed, and I get the controversial policies and stuff, but I think sometimes it goes down to who's really evaluating what's nonpartisan or not nonpartisan, and who's taking a look at that. You know, a group that I may not view, or a speaker that I may not view as partisan. One of my colleagues up here may have a different opinion, and vice versa. And so I don't know. I don't know that. I thought that the initial language actually was better.
I just want to make sure I'm clear, because I'll give you the school perspective. I hear guest speaker, but this is voter registration, so are you concerned about who comes in to register in those social studies classrooms? Typically, that person that comes in is approved by the principal, given a location to conduct those registrations. It won't take place during one government teacher's 90-minute lesson. They will conduct that voter registration. So it typically is not, in my experience, involving somebody else coming in to register students in a classroom and then give a political speech on who they should then vote for. In the past, we provide a location, students are given a document or a form they can fill out to register, and that is it. As a principal of a high school, that was done often during our lunch periods when kids would come through. There's a voter registration group there that would help them walk through that process.
So would that only be the voter registration and elections office and the social studies teacher with their approved curriculum? Or could that be a group that the principal could deem as nonpartisan? Because that is, nonpartisan, again, there are some organizations that are nonpartisan with a partisan lean.
I'll let you answer that.
Ms. Ben, I'm wondering if we substitute one word, if this may solve your problem. The superintendent or designee is authorized to develop such programs with students and to allow only, instead of for, only secondary social studies teachers approved by the Department of Teaching and Learning and the voter registration and elections office to conduct voter registration. Would that solve that issue?
That fixes it. Thank you.
If that's an acceptable one to the board, we can make that amendment.
So Ms. Owens,
That probably takes care of it. I was going to agree with Ms. Brown about the intention when we redid it, and that sounds like it corrected it.
okay, Ms. Anderson.
So I just, I wanted to, for the record, let Mr. Callen know that I was not in favor of eliminating the word nonpartisan. I feel that there are organizations out there, i.e., for example, the League of Women Voters, who are very nonpartisan, but I felt like, we could have left those words in there and it was fine because they have been going to school for several years. They have gone into our schools like during lunchtime, and they don't sway the children. They just explain, how to fill out the form and basically sometimes even help them write their name in cursive.
No.
I'm serious. So it happens. There are some children who don't use cursive writing, and so they forget how to write their name in cursive. So, but anyway, but the nonpartisan part didn't bother me. It bothered my colleagues, so we worked together and came up with this language.
Ms. Manning.
Yeah, so I just want to be clear. Under this, organizations like the League of Women Voters will not be able to come in. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And I would just like to add, that as somebody who has sat at a table during lunch and registered kids to vote, we get very little done because most of the students do not know their social security number. And you have to have that in order to register to vote. And so it kind of squashed it right there. So there's very few kids. The ones that could reach their parent to find out their social security number are the ones that register to vote. So thank you. I thank you for that change.
Do you want
So
to,
are
under
we-
policy 573, do you
Well, wait, I
want
just want to make sure we're good with the language. Am I getting some head nods on the language that this can come?
Do you want me to substitute the word only for the word for, and then go, so you can vote on that tonight? Okay.
And then,
I'm sorry, this is information I'll bring back next week.
okay,
with
so we're good?
Next meeting.
Doesn't have to go back. Okay, you can go to the last one.
All right, last one, 620, school division curriculum. There's only one word change in the last sentence, which will be each curriculum is composed of any school board approved objectives, because as we talked last time, we originally were going to take out school board approved objectives on the off chance that you do add them back in, as we discussed at a prior meeting. We're not using individual school board objectives, but should you approve them in the future, the policy review committee decided we would substitute the word the for the word any for the, and then just some minor scrivener changes. Other than that, there are no recommended other changes to policy 620. Are there any questions? And that would be the end of the PRC recommendations for July.
Okay, my thanks to the Policy Review Committee for this work. And now we welcome Mr. Matthew Delaney, Chief of Schools Officer, on our 24-25 calendar revisions.
Good evening, Chairwoman Melnick, Vice Chair Franklin, members of the school board, Dr. Robertson. As you may recall, during the school board retreat, a question was asked regarding consideration for revisions to the 2024-25 school calendar to include adjusted dismissal days due to the increased demands of mandatory teacher training for the upcoming school year. Dr. Robertson shared that we will bring a recommendation of days after meeting with several stakeholder groups. I'm here today to provide a recommendation for 4 adjusted dismissal days to be utilized in the upcoming school year. Just want to take a moment to touch on the required training that teachers must complete in the upcoming year. A lot of this is not new, but I'm going to go into some detail regarding it. Elementary school teachers and middle school teachers must complete training as required by the Virginia Literacy Act. The training involves the completion of several VDOE created modules. We estimate the time for completing each module is approximately 3 hours. The training was initially supposed to be available in June. As of this time, the training is not available to staff.
Oh, yeah.
And furthermore, VLA training requirements for some teachers has changed since the last calendar meeting was approved and since the school year ended. These changes are the primary reason for our request today. Ms. Colucci is prepared to answer any questions you have regarding her conversations around VLA training. Staff are also required to complete annual mandatory employee training, or AMET. This training is based on federal requirements, state requirements, and as a means to reduce liability. I want to say this is not new, but I will talk to you about how much is required to get done. Teachers are required there are required training modules based on whether you're a returning or new teacher. Training modules include, I'm not going to go through them all, but they include topics such as child abuse, mandatory reporting, CPR, classroom safety, email message safety, Title IX compliance, workplace bullying, and that's just to name a few. It's important to note that these trainings are available online and for our returning teachers. And for our returning teachers is an opportunity for them to test out of some of the modules. Annual mandatory employee training does require a significant amount of time to complete when taken in totality. For the upcoming school year, we pushed back the deadline for completion due to the other training requirements, and we plan to have the training available for staff by the end of this week. You've received information on the final 3 bullets during presentations from Dr. Gorham and Mr. Harris as it pertains to cultural competency training, VDOE required seizure training, and essential trainings from the Department of Teaching and Learning. To be clear, the essential sessions provided by the Department of Teaching and Learning are in most cases finalized prior to the start of the school year, as these sessions are designed to ensure teachers have what they need to effectively plan, teach, assess, and respond when students arrive, and it's also a springboard for future trainings in their professional learning communities and other collaboration opportunities. So as a result of these items, we believe that revising the 24-25 school calendar to include 4 adjusted dismissal days will alleviate the burden on teachers. As you can see, we have 4 proposed dates, 2 in the first semester and 2 in the second semester. Excuse me, I will go in greater detail on the upcoming slides, but I want to be clear that we received input and feedback from teacher groups, the directors of the Career and Technical Education Center and the Advanced Technology Center, as well as central support leaders to land on these dates. We are recommending Friday, October 4th, Wednesday, December 11th, Thursday, March 13th, and Thursday, April 3rd for adjusted dismissal days. So let's take a closer look at these dates. The first date is Friday, October 4th, which, just for your own knowing, is a B-day on the secondary level. Although we don't prefer adjusted dismissal on Fridays often because of, sometimes staff vacancies and so forth, we believe this makes the most sense due to the staff day on Monday, October 7th. This essentially provides teachers who have the opportunity to work on mandatory trainings for 3 hours on the Friday, while also having additional opportunities on Monday, the October the 7th. Wednesday, December 11th is an A day, and this is, I'll go off script a little bit, but sometimes we are told that we don't listen to teachers. I'm going to give you an example of where teachers had great input on this date. Initially, a recommendation was made for Monday, December 9th, and one of our elementary school teachers said, can we not do Monday the 9th? Most of our days off are Mondays. Our kids that go to music and art on Mondays typically miss that day. Can we move it to Wednesday the 11th? The other teachers and people said, yeah, we can do that. So that's the rationale for Wednesday the 11th. In summary, we have an adjusted dismissal day in both the first 9 weeks in October and the second 9 weeks for a total of 2 in the first semester. You see we balanced an A day and a B day in both of those because Wednesday, December 11th is an A day. Moving on to the second semester, again, this is an example of the feedback we received from our directors of the Technical Career Education Center as well as ATC. They asked us if we could please leave the front end of March 10th week alone because they are doing testing on the 11th and 12th, and we're agreeable to the 13th Thursday to be another adjusted dismissal day, and that is an A day. And then the final adjusted dismissal date that we're recommending is Thursday, April 3rd, which is a B day, and is also the final day of the third 9 weeks. As you see on the screen, Friday, October 4th is a staff day. An adjusted dismissal day will allow for staff to work on required training modules, finalize grades, and begin planning for the final 9 weeks on both April 3rd and the 4th. I do want to note as you're looking up at the screen there, because often people ask, you will see that spring break does not start that following week. It starts the week after, so we don't anticipate a bunch of staff absences as they prepare to start that final 9 weeks. I just want to thank you for your consideration. I will tell you, since the retreat, several teachers and principals shared their appreciation that we would even consider this option. We've worked really hard with our principals, specifically on the elementary and middle school level, to drive a calendar and a schedule that can provide the opportunities for teachers through our use of our substitutes and collaboration days. They just feel like this additional time will really bring additional comfort. The last thing I will share, as you know, we have math changes to the curriculum. Other areas are going to require non-staff days to provide some support for our teachers. So at this time, myself and Ms. Colucci are prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
Ms. Owens and then Ms. Manning.
Thank you. I just want to thank Dr. Robertson and senior admin for working together, getting the input, and bringing us something to consider. Bless you. This is something that I had talked with Dr. Robertson about, being concerned, figuring out how many unpaid hours our teaching staff was going to have to put in to make this work with all these new trainings coming down the pike, and the fact that you're telling us today that still that VLA training and some of the other trainings are not available for them yet to kind of get that jump on. Although that would probably be unpaid work hours too. The fact that they can't even determine when those unpaid work hours could have been. This really helps to buffer that and to let them know that we recognize that they have a lot on their plates already, that the given staff days that were in the calendar were provided in advance because we know that they have grading and planning and things that are going on, and that the additional workload of new training requires some additional time, that we don't think that they just have time, that they're twiddling their thumbs in a classroom. So I appreciate these recommendations, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to vote them to approve next meeting. Thank you.
So I fought very hard to get rid of half-days in our calendar because as a parent, I saw how it negatively impacted the students, especially those students who go to specialty programs. That's a full day that they're losing of 4 full days that they're losing of instruction. Our Career and Technical Education Center, our ATC, and I know there are others. And that's why I fought so hard against this, because what I didn't hear in this presentation is the fact that students are losing instruction time. And for that reason, I cannot support this. Thank you.
If you don't mind, Ms. Mann, I almost feel like a hypocrite when I have this conversation because we do prefer full days. We do. And when we made the calendar, we tried to do our best to ensure it wasn't there and with some of these delays. But I don't disagree. When I talked to Dave Swanger at the Tech Center and Mike Taylor, we understand those afternoon students are going to miss those days. And I was comforted by him saying, we'll be okay. But David's also very much a team player and do what's asked. So I understand where you're coming from there. I hope it reinforces for you the need that we see in some degree, because I don't disagree with the need for having full days. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, as a parent, half-days weren't my favorite because I too saw what it did or did not provide for my children. As a teacher, half-days are not my favorite because I see what is not able to be done in a half of a day. Do we have any data, and I know you got a lot of input from teachers, how about parents? Do we have, or can you refresh in past surveys, the community's feelings about half-days? Because as a working parent, that's 2 days I'm gonna have to take off work. And if I have a job that I have 6 days in a year, that's or 8 days in a year, that's 2 days I'm gonna have to take off. Plus the fact that if I don't have my child in regular daycare, that's why I would have to take off, because you can't just all of a sudden for 4 days out of the year sign your child up for some random daycare. So what's the data on the community and working parents and parents?
I'd have to
Do you
look
have any
back
of
a
that?
couple of years when we've asked that question, because if you look at the calendar we developed last year, did not have adjusted dismissal days.
Yeah, I know, that was great.
And we were very intentional on that. We were very intentional in this calendar, 24-25, not to have adjusted dismissal days for just the same reasons we have outlined.
Right.
We felt like with the days we have, based on the information we had at the time, that we could get all the trainings done that were needed in that calendar, with the idea that, and maybe Ms. Colucci can provide some clarification on some changes in Virginia Literacy Act, that we felt those dates were going to be available in June, and that we were going to have a less heavier lift with VLA because our teachers had already done some things prior to. So if you don't mind, if I just let her provide some context on that.
Yes, that would be great. And I've got one more question too to follow that.
So when I first came to you and presented the division literacy plan, if you recall, I said that our teachers that had finished letters, which is an extensive evidence-based literacy training, and looking at the numbers, it's slightly above 50% of our elementary teachers had completed Letters Volume 1, which is amazing. We were at that time, we had been communicated by VDOE that those teachers would have to complete one module. Then it was one course that contained 3 modules. Then additional information came out in a literacy update on June 20th that stated Letters Volume 1 and 2 were required, which is Letters Volume 2 requires another year of training. So at that point, we were very concerned because we had communicated, we had planned, we had received your support for a great calendar. And since then, the VDOE put out another memo from the superintendent that clarified it would not be, they would allow some training in lieu of Volume 2. And so at that time, it looked like they were adding what they had referred to at this time as a UVA module plus the capstone course that has 3 modules in it. So the last communication we received, we were estimating that would be about 4 modules. However, during an office hours recently, it was mentioned that it might be 7 modules. We don't know how long they are, though. And so as soon as we get that information, we'll clearly communicate. But what we know for sure is that it is much more than 1 to 3 modules at this point. Now, those modules could be short, and VDOE has been a great partner, and so has the Virginia Literacy Partnership Group. So we're awaiting a July literacy update for that clarity, but we know it is much more right now than what we intended when we began strategically planning to support our teachers, and they are gonna need time.
Okay. I'll have some questions to call you about before the next 2 weeks, but maybe we could even look into something, a compromise instead of 4, maybe 2. I mean, 4 days of missed instruction, especially for those kids that have certain classes in the afternoon. I mean, that is just huge. But I will wait for the data for the to see what the last survey said about parents and how they deal with half days. Also, now I know the training, what you were talking about, Danielle, is not here yet, but as far as the yearly modules, like for the safety, the choking, the inhalers, I mean, that's I mean, like I did one today. So they can, are those available or are those still not
Those will be available Thursday. Now, I just
Okay.
want to paint additional context here. I think we have, for our returning teachers, when I spoke to Steve Lepak today, they have to do 15 modules as returning teachers. They have the opportunity to test out of 7 of those. So if they smart enough at the beginning, get it right, they can pass through it. His estimation of time for that is 3 hours. Okay.
For each one?
No,
Or-
to complete
for
the
all of
entire
it? Oh, okay.
Now, this is the part where I think is gonna catch you a little bit. Our new teachers have 27 modules to take. They cannot test out. So that comes out to around 11 hours.
And when do they have to have that completed?
We pushed it back to January 31st.
Okay, so that's the one you pushed back.
Last year, we moved it, we had it in early November by that staff day in November to get that completed. We felt like it is not going to be reasonable to have that time again because you have the cultural competency training that has to be done, that's a minimum of an hour. The seizure training's an hour and a half as well. So they can get this started, but when you're looking at a teacher maybe not getting hired until the next couple weeks, they're gonna come in going, I have to do Virginia Literacy Act training, I have 11 hours of modules to complete. You talked, now I will say this, all staff has to do portions of that AM&T. Typically, I'm around 12 to 13 modules myself.
Right.
So it is a timely task.
And Mr.
Well,
Delaney, I do want to clarify, when I was speaking to the time limit of the additional modules that teachers that are trained in Letters One will have to take, the modules that other teachers for sure that we know that they have released, it's 2 to 3 hours a module. So, and you're looking at 9 modules.
Okay.
So, and
That
it's
is a big
self-paced,
increase, yeah.
so it could take longer.
So the safety ones, though, you're extending those till January too? Just the,
The AMET, we've
Yeah.
extended to January
see,
31st.
some of that makes me a little
It makes us
a little
nervous.
worried that we're
We do
doing
push our
seizure-
principals to have a
yeah.
few of them done earlier when you talk
Yeah.
about, first aid training,
right.
classroom
exactly.
safety.
Yeah, those need to be done before a
We
student
look to get
arrives.
those done earlier. They also have other essential sessions around behavior. I will tell you, historically, we've been around January. Last year was the first year we moved it up to November because of the time it takes to complete those modules. And I think we've had pretty good success rate, I know, last year in completing those. And I just want to go back to Mrs. Colucci's statement that you heard modules and VDOE, and there's a lot of lingo there. I think the key messaging point that we want to share is we had over 50% of our teachers that we thought were going to have very minimal VLA training. And in some schools, it was 85% of their teachers were very close to being finalized. So we felt we're going to be pretty good in some schools. And then as things changed, we recognized the plans that were put forth are not what we're going to be able to execute. And that's why, as I said, you've heard me time and again on the calendar say, full days are the best days. But I certainly understand in this where it's going to be a heavy lift for our teachers because of the unknown.
Okay, well, thank you for that information. I'll look forward to the others. It's a lot to think about.
Do you mind if I ask you a question regarding your question on the survey for parents? Because I'm not certain what information you're looking for in
Well,
terms of what we
just- I'm-
ask
I'm-
parents, and I'm not certain we have around adjusted dismissal days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'd have to go back, but I'm just
I will
thinking
go
that
back.
at some point, we probably asked that on some survey, because that's what I hear at the bus stop, in the grocery store, why do y'all have half days? I don't know what I'm gonna do with my kids, especially if you're a single parent who works.
Correct.
And you have a limited time off. And so that's a big, not only loss of instruction, but loss of the ability for someone to work and loss of daycare for those days. So I was just thinking if we had that in the past, something
We'll
about the
take a look.
community. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll take
I
a
don't
look.
care about half days, or half days are definitely very hard for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I
just
think we know that for many, it is a challenge, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Culpepper.
Yeah, the calendar obviously was a long, hard battle, and I do remember you saying many times while we were having that discussion that you prefer full days, so I know you're being straight. And I think I at least mostly understand the magnitude of the additional burden you're looking at here, but my only question is, if the board doesn't give you these 4 extra half-days or 2 extra half-days, whatever we agree upon, what would you do?
We have some things in place currently that we've looked at. So our schools have what we call collaboration days They get allotted a certain amount of days where we typically use those for teachers to go out in teams and plan or deal with other type of issues through their PLC that they want to resolve. They can be very productive. It requires a permanent sub and other substitutes come in and provide some support. So Department of School Leadership, elementary and middle school, Docile particularly, have been working with principals to say, there's dates you're going to have to be really strategic on how you utilize your permanent substitutes, when we send teachers out for collaboration days. Not to take you too far in the weeds, but essentially I could say as a principal, I'm going to send my fourth grade team out this morning so they can work on modules, and I'm going to have substitutes in there, and then I'm going to rotate that group in the afternoon. So in saying all of that, that doesn't alleviate kind of some of the concerns around instructional time and who the teacher is in front of them. But there's a lot of conversations we're having about what do we need to put in place to provide time while on contract for teachers to complete the training.
So in short, you would use substitutes to give them more time.
That's one area we would use, correct. And we also work with our principals on how they're utilizing in-service week and how they're utilizing the staff days that are in front of them right now. So if you look at that October 7th, for example, we will say to principals, you have to give a minimum amount of this time for them to complete these modules. Most of them have already done that. They're using some of their in-service week to say, that's a day that I want you working on modules. When you say each module could be 3 hours, and if you have 9 modules, the math is 27 hours. Other things they want to do is plan for their next lessons, review assessment data, get engaged in their math curriculum, revise IEPs. So there's a lot of things that also they're tasked with doing that creates the additional stress of how do they balance that time. I hope that answered your question. I tried to give you as much context as possible.
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Ms. Riggs, and then Ms. Anderson.
My question is, when you do the collaboration, the principals get collaboration time, what do the teachers have to do to prepare their substitutes to take over to do that collaboration?
They'd prepare the same as they do on any day that a substitute teacher
They have
would
to
be in.
plan lesson plans.
Correct.
So
And
that's additional.
it's additional. and
Yeah,
I-
so
I'll-
my thought, and I just wanted you to say that, so I wasn't putting it out there, but I know from doing collaboration myself, that, and I've heard teachers say over and over again, that it didn't help me because I had to do so much more work, because when you have a substitute in, it's a lot harder than when you're there. Collaboration is nice, and it helps, but it's not helping this situation of putting of all the extra stress and the extra time in preparation. So that takes a lot as well. And I would hope that parents want our teachers to be prepared and to have what they need to have to teach this literacy and to teach it the best that they can. So I know how dogmatic you guys have always been about our calendar and keeping our kids, and I know what your philosophy is. Schools are meant for kids to be in at all times. So this is, like you said, giving you some heartburn to have to do this, but this is not something that we chose to do. This is something that our state's putting on us to do. So I think that we need to help our teachers, especially our new ones. It's hard enough being a teacher coming back year after year. I mean, even with 37 years, I mean, every year we're still more and more. But our new teachers and all that they have to do, those 4 half days, to me, are going to be gold to them. They're going to need it. And you guys would not be asking for this if you didn't think that. So I appreciate that you're looking at it and you're looking at it strategically. I think it's very important that we think about the whole, not only our parents and our kids, but our teachers. And our kids will benefit from this because our teachers need to be prepared for this. They're going to need this time. And I'm speaking from the experience of a teacher. I've had the collaboration. I've had the, not half as much as that now they're getting, because that was 12 years ago. So there's been so much more poured onto them. So,
Ms. Anderson.
Thank you for bringing this revised calendar with the half days built in it. And I too understand where you're coming from and how you feel about the half days. And I understand how parents feel about it. I was a parent. I I didn't enjoy what I was gonna do with my children for those half days, but at the same time, when we give them enough time, they can be prepared for this. We, as a school system, are in the business of providing first-rate quality instruction. And how do we get there? We get there by having teachers who are trained. And this is what you all have recognized. The key language here is called lack of time for our teachers to get this training. And if we don't give them the time, then it's not fair to them either. Yes, we have to think of the parents, but we also have to think of what we're requiring our teachers to do, not what we're requiring, what the state has put on for our teachers to do. If we send teachers out for collaboration days, it still affects the quality of instruction. And as my colleague just pointed out, it absolutely is a lot more time consuming for teachers to come up with the lesson plans that they need to leave behind. And these children are still not going to get the quality instruction they need. So I'm not in favor of doing the collaboration time. I think that just wastes a few days of instruction that we can't afford to do. But I really thank you so much for realizing that our teachers need this time with these built-in half days. And we just start letting parents know ahead of time. Yes, there are 4 days throughout the year that we're going to ask you to come up with, babysitting. I mean, I don't want to do collaboration, because basically the collaboration is basically us providing babysitting for the students so that the parents won't have to provide it. And I get that. I understand that. I know.
I think I'm gonna have to clarify a little bit of collaboration days, because I wanna
I
make sure nobody
understand.
else on the board thinks we're wasting time with these days. So I will share with you, as a principal, these days, typically when my teachers came back, said that time was invaluable for me to plan out the next few weeks of instruction with my team. So I don't want anybody here in collaboration days go, why are we having them? We get great value out of those days. I understand it is a area where they have to plan and do things. It does create a little bit. But I'd never sent a team out on collaboration days where they didn't come back and thank me for that time working with their colleagues. And they said, I feel like I have the next 9 weeks ready to go. So if you ever have a teacher saying it's a waste of time, we need to know about it in docile so we can coach our principal on how to better utilize that time.
Don't misunderstand me, please. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that collaboration is a waste of time. What I'm saying is, when you compare it to the teachers not having to make those plans for substitutes to take care of their students while they're out collaborating with the other teachers, when you compare the two, the teachers who would not have to do that in lieu of having a half day of students at home and not having to come up with those additional plans, that's the difference.
I appreciate the clarification.
Okay? So it's just, to me, there's no question that I wouldn't vote in favor of having the half days, and like I said, let's let the parents know ahead of time. You have 4 days throughout this year that you might have to have some additional babysitting for your children.
Mr. Callen.
Based on the crossroads that you're describing that this has presented us with, one of the variables that seems to surround this is the fact that we don't know just how demanding this will be once we finally receive the insights that we are awaiting from the state of Virginia. If that's a correct understanding, if it turns out to be less demanding than we're envisioning, and we've talked about 4 half days that we've prepared for, and we realize it's not necessary that we use all 4 of those, I'm assuming we can take that chip back off the table. But is that a correct assumption once you've opened that door?
I don't think so. Good luck on that.
I don't see me standing at this podium asking to return 2 days or 4 days, but that, again, that's not, I'm just giving you, I'd be surprised.
I get that, but you did package this presentation surrounding the aspect that there is a great deal of uncertainty that surrounds this. And since we regard as precious
Correct.
school days and hours in school, then it would seem as though if the demands are not as great, that we would be able to play that card. But again, I'm
I think
introducing a
that's,
hypothetical
well, I think
for
you asked a good
consideration.
question, and I think that the answer comes a little bit in the calendar we did develop this year compared to other school divisions. Many other school divisions, if you look, added many adjusted dismissal days around training. We did not, because again, we felt, based on the information we were getting, that we would be poised in a pretty good place, that we would not have to do the amount of training that now came through after school let out, in terms of some adjustments to that. I'm not answering your question, but what I'm telling you is where we thought we were going to be in the lift is where you got the calendar you got in 24, 25. I think we're pretty confident that it is not going to be something we're gonna go, they don't have anything left to do, and we can add those days back. I just don't see that happening, because once they know it's there, they know they can plan around other training needs that exist within the school building, such as understanding how to teach the new math standards or the new social studies standards. And so they'll utilize that time in other avenues, which is also much needed from a planning standpoint.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Brown?
Okay, I think, thank you for all that information and the clarification, and I definitely, I understand the challenges. I also understand the challenges of the half-days, and my main concern, and I don't know if it's really a question, reassurance, but my main concern is that I don't want to be sitting in an August meeting next year with, I know we had that 180-day calendar, we already scaled back a day. Was it 2? Yeah, scaled back 2 days, 1 or 2 days.
1 day, yep.
And, we need to add 4, 5, 6 half-days to the school year. So I guess what type of reassurance can be given to the community that, when we set our calendar, that we aren't going to intend to sprinkle in extra half-days that, may present challenges for families. Not that we're using school as daycare here, but families do have a reasonable need to know what's going to be going on with their children and to make arrangements for their children.
If I may, the legislation specifies that all teachers, K-8, have to have this training. And the VDOE has stated in the last update that we received, which expressed that there would be additional modules, even if you had taken Letters Volume 1, that this has to be done by the conclusion of the summer next school year. At first, it had to be completed this school year, but they have not released the modules yet, so they've extended that through the next summer. But this is an unusual circumstance in which we need to comply with the legislation.
So I would just focus on that piece right there. This is I'm
sorry.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I thought you were done.
But so for next year, you don't foresee that there's going to be the same type of demand. And the question is, at what point as a division do we say, okay, I know this has come up and it came up again with something different, maybe not the same training module, but at what point do we say, okay, we can't make any modifications?
I can't predict what future legislation will come our way at any point. But given the information we had, we did a really great job, and our teachers and principals collected so much information, and we strategically planned and brought forth that information. And since then, unfortunately, more information has revised some of that guidance, and we are really concerned that our teachers are going to need our support to complete this. And as you know, this division has really invested in evidence-based literacy instruction. So the intent of the legislation is so good and well-intended, and we believe in it and that it will make a difference, but we also have to strategically support our staff and equip them, to be able to engage.
Thank you.
So, I think parents really need to understand that these aren't arbitrary half days. That this is real. The teachers really they know what's on their plate right now. I just ran into a couple the other day that they're shaking their heads, and the community needs to know that this is VDOE mandated training. This is not just arbitrary assignment of 4 half days. And one of my friends who is deciding whether or not to retire just said, I just don't know how much more I can do. And I can't do everything. And she's a reading specialist. She goes, I can't get it all done. And I'm just, I don't want to say I'm disappointed in the VDOE, but I am, because there are programs that are being rolled out that aren't finished. And, you can't build the plane while you're flying. And that's kind of where we're leaving our teachers. And I too don't like half days, but in this case, these are unforeseen circumstances, and we need to be able to pivot and help our teachers to have the time that they need to do this. Ms. Kendrick.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Delaney, with your work on, all of your work with trying to help us to comply with the VDOE. I'm just curious, and you had mentioned or alluded to it earlier, about the other school districts. Can you share a little bit about maybe what Chesapeake or Norfolk's doing in their compliance to
I can
this
share that.
VDOE?
I'll have to look it up completely, but when I look at Fairfax County has several adjusted dismissal days.
Okay.
I have not memorized where it looks, but I
Sure.
see more of them having adjusted dismissal. I look at neighboring school divisions that have 174 instructional days, and out of that they have significant number of staff days. 6 of those might be adjusted in some cases. So there's others that looked at it and said, from the standpoint of training, we want to provide that time. I can get you more details just by when I can pull up those calendars.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how our 4 half days might compare to the local schools. For me, in this regard, Hampton Roads is just kind of, all the parents are all, and the students are kind of all looking at how each other does things, and I think for us it'd be good to know. But thanks again for the hard work that you all did for this. I know it's not easy.
I'll get that information to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll remind my colleagues that this is a board that did not want to investigate operating on an hours-based calendar. This was a board who wanted 180 days. And when we're comparing ourselves to Norfolk, does Chesapeake operate on hours?
No, they are the same number of days in a
Okay.
post-Labor Day start. So
And Norfolk is hours?
they're
hours.
pre-Labor Day. They do it by days, not hours, but they comply with the state
On 990?
numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, my conversation with Norfolk, their directive was, we want a pre-Labor Day start and before June. That was basically the directive, so.
Right.
Candidly, we would we would have a hard time as a staff supporting.
Right,
Some of
of
that
course. But, we are where we are, and we may have to adjust in order to meet the demands of these programs. And in addition, the new accreditation standards. So we have a lot on our plate this year. Ms. Weems, and then Dr. Robertson, I think you're done.
Yes, I had one quick question. Did y'all, I know at one point, I think on the draft calendar, we had more upfront teacher work days and then we scaled it back. Or in the past, sometimes we had 7 or 8. And now how many do we have?
6 with the flex
With
day.
one flex, okay. Was that in the conversation, any? Like to add another?
No, we did
Okay.
not bring that into the conversation. Didn't even cross our mind, because that'd have been a challenge, I think, to ask teachers to come back earlier for this at this juncture, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, yeah. okay,
Yeah, I
you
think
just said
that may be, I'd be interested to hear their comments if we told them we're coming back
Yeah.
a few days early.
Okay, and then since some of this training is now, from what I understand, is we've got till next August. So we've got 13 months for this training. Was there any conversation about having some of these at the end of the school year?
End of the school year, we do have that flex day, that Monday of the, I'm gonna probably miss the date, June 16th, I think is a Monday.
Right.
That's a flex day that we're also utilizing with them to say this is another opportunity at the end of the year to finalize and use that time towards that flex day as well.
Okay, all right, well, it's just not a,
Yeah.
whatever we decide, we feel like one group, either parents, teachers, or students, I'm gonna err on the, what I think is best for the consistent instruction and no time for our students. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I'll have more questions in the next 2 weeks. Thank you.
Dr. Robertson?
Yeah, so I appreciate the commentary we've had over the last, about 40 minutes. I'll offer a couple things that you've heard, just to reiterate. As an administration, we do not support less than 180 days because we value instructional time. As an administration, we do not support early release days. That's why they weren't in the calendar. But the situation that we're facing this year has put us between a rock and a hard place. And the circumstances that have been dictated by the requirements out of the Virginia Department of Education are like nothing I have seen in 36 years. The 9 modules, so for the 1,500 elementary school teachers and middle school teachers that haven't completed any of the letters training, the 9 modules are going to take at least 27 hours. At least. For the teachers who went through the letters training, which was comparable to a master's level college course, they may be asked to take as many as 7, the equivalents of 7 modules, 21 hours. That's if they can get through those in 3 hours. But that's just the first part. So if you think about the first time you ever learned to do anything, swing a tennis racket, hit a golf ball, hit a baseball, when you left your training, you felt, okay, I think I can do this. That's when the real work begins. And the real work begins with all of the other things that the teachers already have to do. There's a difference between quantity and quality. And the challenge that Mr. Delaney did not share were collaboration days, which you guys know we deal with substitute issues. Many principals have planned to have collab days for their staff. Those are canceled the day of because they don't have substitutes. So the collab day never come to fruition, and you've got a group of frustrated teachers who took the time to create lesson plans, which is an addition to that didn't get to carry that out. So we recognize if 2 days of early release were appropriate, we would have only asked you for 2. We've asked for 4 because our best judgment, based upon all the things that we're aware of, is that we need 4 days of early release. We thoughtfully created those days. If the board approves this recommendation, we will have a comprehensive communication plan to go out to families within a week of the decision that's made to go along with the new calendar to explain why we're having to take these steps. And yes, the state did decide to extend the opportunity to complete the training until the beginning of next school year. But I would ask the state, does that make sense to you? Because we're going to be assessed in the spring next year on the implementation of the VLA and the new standards. What is the value of the training that the teachers take June, July, and August? There's none.
Nope.
Because we've already passed the testing time period. So please know, this is a last resort for us. We do not want to burden families. Absolutely not. And if we felt there was any other feasible plan, that's what we would have brought forward. So I appreciate your consideration. Whatever the board decides, we'll make it work. But I just felt it important for me to share. This did not come without some deep discussion and thought.
Ms. Melnick, if you don't mind, hot off the press from Ms. Livas over here with some answers to Ms. Kendrick's questions. Portsmouth has 5 early release days. Norfolk, 3 flex days, 4 early release days, 4 teacher work days. Chesapeake, 10 teacher work days. Now, some of those are in service, obviously. 2 early release, and then they have 3 elementary only work days. Now, we typically don't move in that direction back to the child care component, that if I have a high school age child or middle school age child that can be there to assist the elementary school student, that's important for them to be able to then go to work or answer those questions. But there's 3 of the surrounding divisions. Thank you, Ms. Livas.
Thank you, Ms. Livas. I thought that would be helpful to our conversation.
Thank you, Ms. Kendrick. Norfolk is paying their teachers an additional $750.
To complete the training?
For the training?
Why did you say that?
I'm going to relinquish my time to Ms. Woodhouse at this point if there's no other questions.
With
Like I said,
ESSER
it's gonna
funds
be
running
helpful.
out in September of 2024.
I thought that would be helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Good?
Are we good?
Thank you.
Do we have any extra ESSER funds? Okay. 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 And so with no other questions, we will now move on to the consent agenda. Tonight, we only have one item, and that's the Christopher Farms Elementary School chiller and boiler replacement. Are there any objections to removing this item from the consent agenda? Okay, then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Motion made by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Ms. Franklin. Voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 11 ayes. The motion did pass for the consent agenda.
Okay, on to action. And I call for a motion to approve the July 23rd, 2024 personnel report and administrative appointments. Motion made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Franklin. Any discussion? Okay, the voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 11 ayes. The motion did pass for the personnel report.
Thank you. Dr. Robertson?
Yes, thank you. Pleased that you accepted our recommendation for Richard Semiak, currently an admin assistant at Larkspur Middle School, to be the next assistant principal at Lynn Haven Middle School. For Margaret Wilson, currently an admin assistant at Kempsville Middle School, to be an assistant principal at Brandon Middle School. For Kiara Forbes, currently an admin assistant at Kempsville High School, to be an assistant principal at Lansdowne High School. For Ray Gatlin, currently an assistant principal at Princeton Middle School, to be an assistant principal at Bayside High School. For Ann Chowns, currently an instructional specialist in K-12 school counseling, to be the coordinator of guidance services in the Office of Student Support Services. Stephanie Insman, currently employee relations specialist, Department of Human Resources, to be the new director of employee relations. Wendy Lyle, instructional specialist in Title I programs, to be the next coordinator of Title I programs. And from Kelly Swainer, currently a math coach at Kempsville High School, to be the new coordinator of student leadership in the Office of Student Leadership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, item B is our school board committee assignments for fiscal year 25. Technically, with the movement that we're going to have in November, I would not classify this for fiscal year 25, but just to get us through to December. And then with at least 4, but maybe 6 new people on the board, we'll have to redo these assignments in January. So, with that in mind, I call for a motion to approve the school board's chair's recommendation for school board members to be assigned to school board committees, organizations, and boards from from July to December. Motion made by Ms. Riggs and seconded by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? Ms. Weems?
Yes, I'd like to make a substitute motion. I move that we amend the policy review committee and have it to include Kathleen Brown, Jessica Owens, and Vicki Manning, and keep everything else the same. Thank you.
Okay, we have a, okay. So we have a substitute motion on the floor. Motion by Ms. Weems, seconded by Mr. Callen. Okay. So, as chair and vice chair, I will just speak to that motion. This was a really difficult, committee assignment to complete. Mostly because of what I just stated a few minutes ago, that this is only through December. And, many of the, the policy review committee is gonna have 4, maybe 5 more meetings. And so what I did as chair, to be fair, is I called each member of the policy review committee. And I asked them if they'd be willing to give up their spot to allow Mrs. Manning to serve. And each one independently said, we are working on some policies, and we'd like to see those come to fruition. We're stepping off the board in December, and I'd like to finish out my time with these policies. In addition, Mrs. Brown got one additional question, only because she's a returning board member in January. And so I did ask her if she would be willing to step down and then be reappointed in January to the Policy Review Committee. And her answer was exactly the same as the other 2 members, which was, I've been working on some policies that I'd like to see come to fruition. And when I was given that and independently received the exact same answer, it's why I left it exactly as it is. And so, Mrs. Manning did step down for Mrs. Brown last year. And so that is why I asked the question of Mrs. Brown. Not that she needed to do it, it's just why I felt like I could have asked, that I should have asked that question. So I thought we were really fair in what we did, and I tried to honor everything that I possibly could. And so with that, I yield to other questions or comments. Anybody else? Okay, then that just popped up. Ms. Owens?
Sure, thank you. I appreciate that you called myself and the other members and attempted to find solutions within volunteering of the committee. And I am not surprised that the committee members said that we are working on things and would like to see them through with maybe 4 to 5 meetings left for this year. While I have no problem working with any person on the board and have worked well in committees with Ms. Manning and Ms. Anderson, Ms. Brown, all together or independently, I do think that some of the policies that we are looking at and talking about have information that we received additional discussion and interactions about at our retreat. And I think it's, it was unfortunate. There were other conflicts of interest. Ms. Manning wasn't able to be at the retreat. I am in favor of leaving the committee as it stands and allowing the members who've been working together on these policies to complete it for these next 4 to 5 meetings and seeing where things go from there. So I will be voting against the substitute. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Well, I knew this was going to happen. I predicted that there would be constituents who came and spoke on Miss Manning's behalf tonight. I predicted that. But I will say that the current makeup of the committee works well together. We basically have 5 more meetings left, and I'd like to finish my time on the committee and my time on the board with this committee. There are some policies we're working on that I'd like to see completed before I leave the board in December. My dedication and commitment to this board and the policy committee is unwavering, and I think all of you will recognize that I have never missed a meeting. I did Zoom one of the PRC meetings one time when I was visiting my grandchildren in Tampa, but I basically have my life planned around when the meetings are. I don't plan doctor's appointments when I know there's a PRC meeting. I don't plan anything when there's one of our meetings. I'm dedicated and committed to the board and to the committees that I'm on. All policies are voted on by the full board, so for anyone to accuse me of bringing my own agenda to the PRC that reflects my priorities, that's just false. It's absolutely false. It was slanderous the way it was presented tonight by one of our constituents. I do bring the perspective of a classroom teacher. I bring that perspective of a classroom teacher to the board, and I bring that perspective of a classroom teacher to the PRC committee many times when we have discussions. And that's what we do in the PRC, is we discuss things. We discuss the policies. I think my colleagues know my commitment and dedication to this board is unwavering. I've attended meetings even when I could barely walk. Plan my family vacations around times that we don't have planned meetings or retreats. I even scheduled doctor's appointments around scheduled meetings. And because I know it's important for us to show up, to be there, because staff has prepared. And I don't think it's fair of asking staff to prepare things for us and then for us to just not show up for whatever reason. If you're sick, that's different. If you have a family member that's sick, that's different. But I don't plan to be out on purpose. Therefore, I'm asking my colleagues to support me on this vote by voting no against this because, I would like to finish my time on the board, on the PRC committee. And I ask my colleagues to support me on this and to vote against this, what Ms. Weems has brought forward. Thank you.
Okay, so I see no other colleagues in the queue, and so the substitute motion, seconded by Mr. Callen, the voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have six ayes and 5 nays. So the substitute motion did pass for PRC committee to be consisted of Ms. Brown, Ms. Owens, and Ms. Manning.
Okay, thank you. So now the original motion is, I'm sorry? Well, that was the substitute motion. So the original motion is to approve the, committee packet as presented. So again, that motion,
Point of order, yeah. My substitute was to approve everything with the amendment.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry, I
it's
should have
the
restated that.
amendment,
Okay,
So
well
we
then
don't
we're
have
good.
to- We don't have to
Okay.
do that.
I thought it was just to switch it. Oh, have anything to report for committee organizations and board reports? All right, Ms. Rakes?
I know this is not a committee report. Okay. But I did go to Chicago last week, and I sent you guys the email. I just wanted to say something more. And I know that Megan Timlin has put in with communications to do the award for these the students that did compete in the national pitch night. But I went, and I do want to add that I paid for my own way and paid for my stay and all that, so no one has to FOIA who paid for my airplane ticket and who paid for my hotel room. I did it all, and I did it because I happened to be really good friends with one of the parents of the students that were on the She class. But you guys would be so proud of our group of students. It's just amazing what they've done. If you haven't had that opportunity just to see the Kempsville ones, to go to see the national and see them present nationally, they were just so professional and so good. And I know hopefully you guys looked at the YouTubes that my friend, she did the YouTube, videoing of the whole thing. But they just were so good. And I was able to speak that night as well and just share how important it is for the EBA and just how we are just amazed by these students and what they do. And the winner, there were 3 different winners. And I was telling you guys at supper, the guy that, the one team that got it, he was a one-man team. He was amazing, and his has something to do with technology and adding some technology apparatus to a whiteboard where the kids, if you didn't finish your notes, they can download that straight to their either Chromebook or their phone or whatever, and they have the notes completed. And he's not even going to college this year. He graduated. He's not even going to college because he's got so much business with this that he probably never will have to. But these kids were amazing. And you guys would be so proud. I have one of the administrators with this whole group with the younger kids with the middle school and elementary have reached out to me because we contacted each other that night or met each other that night. And they have programs for elementary and for middle school. So I'm sure you guys have probably seen about it. But anyway, it was wonderful. Just makes me feel so proud for them and us. So we've got some brilliant kids. These kids are brilliant. So
Sounds like the world's in good hands, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
makes you feel good.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for going. All right, so we do need to return to a closed session, and so I turn to Madam Vice Chair to read us into close.
I move that the school board recess into closed session in accordance with the exceptions to open meetings law set forth in Code of Virginia 2.2-3711, Part A, paragraphs 7 and 8 as amended to deliberate on the following matters: consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. For the purposes of the subdivision, probable litigation means litigation that's been specifically threatened or on which the public body or its legal counsel has a reasonable basis to believe will be commenced by or against a known party. Nothing in this subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter. Consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Nothing in the subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter, namely to discuss status of pending litigation or administrative cases, consultation with legal counsel regarding probable litigation and pending litigation matters.
Okay, so that motion was made by Ms. Franklin, seconded by Ms. Kendrick. The voting board is open. I don't see mine, so.
How do you vote, aye? Okay, so Madam Chair, we have 11 ayes to go into closed session. The motion was approved.
Okay, as soon as BBTV gives me the heads up, we can go into close.
Whereas the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Motion made by, okay, by Ms. Manning, second by Mr. Cowling. The voting board is open. It says we're voting.
AI, it's AI, Mike.
If
Okay.
everybody,
Everybody raise your hands.
raise your hand if it's aye. Okay, Madam Chair, we have 11 ayes, so the motion to pass for certification of closed.
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. It is 8:30.